Hour 2 of the RP Show's Football Friday for Culligan Water. Clear water, clear choice. Filter out the bad and taste the good. Culligan Water of Regina. Check them out at culliganregina.com. Yeah. CFL Combine is going to be in the Queen City next weekend, and Jim Barker will be there from the CFL on TSN. He joins us as he always does on Football Fridays. Hey, Coach, how's your week been, sir?
It's been good. It's been good. Just getting everything finalized for the Combine. I'm excited about it, and it'll be great for the fans to be able to come down and watch these young players that they'll be watching on television here shortly.
You know, I got a lot of questions CFL related for you. I've prepped you for those, but I do have an NFL question if we can start there. Mike in Pilot Butte writes in and he says, what's going on in San Francisco with all the dumping of established players, some of which are Pro Bowl caliber and seemingly nothing much to replace them with? I'm sure you got your eye on the NFL free agency. Do you have an answer for that?
I really don't. And, Jed York, he's a little different dude. When he replaced Eddie DiBartolo, things went down for a while. And then, like I said, they've done a great job. John Lynch and, they've done a fantastic job of rebuilding that thing. But that's been baffling to me. I mean, they went out and got, McCaffrey last year, and they just haven't seemed to, they lost some good players and didn't seem very active in trying to replace them. So, yeah, it was surprising to me too, and I really don't have an answer because, like I say, Jed York, when he first took the team over, did the same thing. But now, and again, we know from anybody who watches Rod Pedersen knows it all starts with the ownership.
Oh, you've been paying attention. You see what I say. Well, what I'm hearing is they're clearing up money to pay Brock Purdy. That's what I hear, that he's going to get a huge payday because he's still on his first contract. So we can come. Well, listen, what are your thoughts on this? DeMarcus Lawrence leaves to go to Seattle, and him and Micah Parsons are sneaking back and forth. This is like grade 7 stuff, playground stuff. But I'm like, you don't see this with the Chiefs. Just tells you how toxic Dallas is, and that is my team. It's kind of unfortunate. I'm sure you've heard of this.
Yeah, it's it is. It's childish what's going on, and it's again crazy. But it does happen in places like Dallas. And, DeMarcus Lawrence, I like the coach in Seattle, the new guy. I think he's going to do a really good job. They went out and got Sam Darnold that we talked about last week, and I hadn't thought about Seattle because I thought they were fairly happy with Geno Lewis. But they make a decision, move him to the Raiders and take on Sam Darnold that they believe will be a future for him. They believe he's at the beginning of his career in terms of actually being with a good team. I think it's going to be really interesting. The offensive coordinator there has a little of the same background as Kevin O'Connell did in Minnesota, so that transition will be good. I'm sure they studied the heck out of this guy and believe he is the guy who can come in and be their guy to take them to the promised land. And Minnesota, meanwhile, sits with J.J. McCarthy. And again, is that a destination for Aaron Rodgers? I mean, I thought they did a great job in free agency. They improved their defensive line incredibly. They went after offensive line. They took a lot of guys that nobody hears about that win games for you. And I was impressed with what they did in free agency. But J.J. McCarthy's their quarterback right now. And you can't tell me that I'm going to be excited about having a guy who's never been a starting quarterback in the NFL be my starter for day one. I just can't fathom that. So we'll see.
Yeah, and now he's coming off an injury. So the poll question today is who's the best, most coveted free agent quarterback available? Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, or other? Who would you sign if you had to?
Well, again, it depends on my situation. If I'm in Minnesota, I'm probably going to make a run at Aaron Rodgers because they have everything else around it. They just need to fit into that system. And again, whether or not I don't know how tough he is to deal with. And Kevin O'Connell's a young coach; he may not want to deal with that. So I would think that would be Tennessee's a place that needs something. I think that would be a disaster for Aaron, but I do believe that the Titans would be a spot that could probably use him. I was surprised the Raiders didn't make a bigger run at him, but obviously Tom Brady, felt like going with somebody like Geno Smith was going to be better long term, I guess. I don't know if he's making the decisions or they have a really young GM, whether it's him. So I don't know. There's some interesting things that won't play out until we get to the season. But it is interesting. And Russell Wilson, again, the Steelers giving up on him after a year. I don't know. It's a tough one. I mean, I don't know. He hurt himself in Denver, I think, with the things that happened with the coach and things like. I just think he hurt himself there, and I was surprised. Justin Fields, the Jets went on Justin Fields, and I think they're going to go that direction. That was a bit surprising, but we'll see. The NFL just, it's. Guys are moving around. People talk about the CFL movement. CFL movement is nothing compared to what goes on down there. It's crazy. I mean, it really is.
It doesn't make sense. It's just entertaining to watch. And if people think you're waiting for it to make sense, some of these moves, you'll be waiting a long time. Okay, I asked you for these rankings, and I told the viewers that you would be giving them. Let's start with the quarterbacks, if you don't mind. And the reason I'm bringing this up is I saw some CFL fans saying there's not much going on right now in the league, but it's better than talking about politics. And I'm like, oh my God, is it ever? So let's have a fun, right? Let's have a fun Football Friday CFL talk in the dead of, spring sprung now, but you know what I'm saying, mid-March. Who's your QB rankings in the CFL, if you don't mind, please? Starting with number.
Actually, I think I'd rather put a needle in my eye than talk politics, to be honest with you.
How about that?
But
I know. I'm with you.
Let's start with quarterbacks, and I think the quarterbacks tie in very closely to the teams. But I ranked the quarterbacks top to bottom. Again, I don't think the bottom quarterback I have is necessarily going to be on with the bottom team. But we'll start with it. With my number one quarterback in the league is Chad Kelly. I just think the things he's done, he's going to come in. He just got married 2 days ago. He's expecting a child. Or not he, but his wife is expecting a child. He's going to be more mature. From a winning standpoint, he's proven everything that you have to prove. He's been there and he's done that. And I think his team believes in him. So I'm going to take Chad Kelly first, and I'm going to take Zach Calero second. I don't know how you can't. If he doesn't get hurt, they probably beat the Argos in the Grey Cup. I mean, when he got hurt, the Argos were starting to run the ball better. They were starting to do things better. But when he went out, they had no chance. And again, so I think I'm going to keep Zach up there high. Third, again, does this mean the Hamilton Ticats are third best team in the league? I don't know. But I have to take Bo Levi-Mitchell based on his season last year, based on the numbers he put up. I think their receiving core, they had Kenny Lawler. I think they're going to be way better as a football team, at least defensively. They have to be better than they were at the beginning of the first half of last year. That was a pathetic football team. And I think they've gone out. Ted Gobiah's done a nice job. He's brought some of the old Winnipeg players in who know how to win. I mean, he's taken most of the guys he's taken. He and Alex Russell have done a great job. They've taken guys from Winnipeg who have won and guys from Toronto who have won. So they're going to have guys in their locker room that know how to win. Bo Levi just needs around him. I think Scott Milanovich is the perfect coach for him. I'm going to put Bo Levi-Mitchell third. And then I'm going to put Vernon Adams fourth with Calgary. Now, do I think Calgary is the fourth best team? No. But I think Vernon Adams right now, I'm going to take just based on how he played last year with BC prior to getting hurt. And then they made the change to Nathan Rourke. And I thought that Vernon was the better quarterback during that season, but by the time he came back, it was too late. So I took Vernon Adams next, and then Nathan Rourke with BC after that. I just think that, Nathan Rourke, maybe with a full season, he's going to have Buck Pierce as his coordinator. Again, they've kind of retooled that team. Ryan Rigmaiden. Again, you can go out and get William Stanback and say that's going to make us a physical football team, and it doesn't. They went out and got to John Allen, who is as good an offensive lineman as there is in the league. That's going to make Nathan Rourke better. That's going to make that football team better. So, again, Nathan Rourke could be number one. He could very well be the best quarterback in this league, based on how he played before he went to the NFL. But all I can judge it on is how he's played since he got back. And, again, the pressures were different then. Now this is all his team. He knows it's his team. There won't be any distractions that way. So, again, is he better than Vernon Adams? Could be. Based on last year, I felt Vernon Adams was better, so I have him higher. Then next I have Trevor Harris. He's been there. He's done that. He hasn't gotten over the hump yet in terms of being able to be the guy that takes the team from game one to the Grey Cup. But he's continued to improve. I think he's what you were just talking about. He's that veteran guy that gives you comfort. You know what you have. Now, they bring Jake Mayer in as the backup, who could be that young guy that just needed a change of venue. So that quarterback situation is good. Can Trevor last a season? That's a big question mark. But I'm going to put Trevor Harris next just because of and the Saskatchewan quarterback situation. But basically because of Trevor's experience, and he's been there, he's done that, and they know what they're getting. Then I'm going to take Drew Brown from Ottawa, who I thought had a decent first season as a quarterback. I mean, again, he had that situation last year of coming in. It was his team. He had Mazzoli behind him, and I thought he struggled at times. He took them to about they were right around 500. They made the playoffs. So, again, I'm going to put him right below Trevor based on experience. And then I've got the two babies. I got Trey Ford, who has some experience, but he has never gone in and been the guy. That's going to be a totally different thing for Trey Ford. I think Ed Hervey and Spencer Zimmerman and that cast of characters in Edmonton have done a great job of trying to get a team around him. But the bottom line still comes down to they're going to be playing with a quarterback that has never done it before. He's a young Canadian kid, and everybody's pulling for him to be great. I mean, to have two starting Canadian quarterbacks in the league is a great thing for Canada. I mean, that's a great thing. And so I'm going to take
Amazing.
Trey Ford next. And then on the bottom, I've got to put Davis Alexander. And to all my CFL fans in Gig Harbor, I hate to do that, but with a guy who's never been the guy, it's never been his team. He's never had that pressure. They have very good defense there. They've lost some of their receivers, but their key guys, Austin Mack is back, Phil Potts back. They should be a good team around him. And if he can do what he's done, which is when he started, he's done nothing but win. And you can't take that away from him. But I can't put him ahead of even of Trey Ford, who has all those starts in front of him. I can't put Davis Alexander ahead of him. Certainly can't put him ahead of Drew Brown, who's had one season now. We know what he is. So, it's kind of it's an interesting scenario. Now, do I think that Montreal is going to be the worst team in the league because they have the who I rank the number 9 quarterback? No, I think Montreal is going to be, very much in the middle of the pack, and they'll be challenging the Argos because they play great defense. Noel Thorpe has molded that thing, but they've lost some key guys. They lost. I thought Reggie Stubblefield was a key guy in what they were doing, and they lost him and that type of thing. So I think Saskatchewan with Trevor and Jake Mayer. I think Jake Mayer I don't think we've heard the last of him in this league. I think he got stuck in a little bit of a rut. When they let go of Bo Levi and gave him the job, maybe he wasn't ready for it, and it overwhelmed him a bit. And a lot of times, that can help to spurn a player. Zach Collaros is, he went to a couple teams before, he finally actually found that place that was right for him. Anthony Calvillo, the same thing early in his career. He came to us in Montreal in 2002 and had been in, he was on his way out of the league. Very similar to Jake. And then, the rest is history. He went on to 10 great years in Montreal.
Well, it's funny you say that because I think what happened in Sask, I know, spurred on Cody Fajardo. But I've talked to head coaches in the league that aren't necessarily offensive guys, okay? And they've said to me, our offensive guys say Cody doesn't have it. And I'm like, okay, well, is playing the Grey Cup, says other word, but I will not discount what the coaches are saying. If they came to me and told me how to do broadcasting, I would tell them to go jump in the lake. So, okay, I respect that. I'm a Cody fan, but this is what they say. Look, we are out of time for this, unless you can rattle off in a minute your teams. Do you have your teams? Can you do that in a minute?
You know what? I just did the quarterbacks because I thought that I would hit on every. But I do, you can't go against Toronto. I just don't think you can go against Toronto. I think that they've lost a ton of people. I will give you that. They've lost a ton of people. But they have Ryan Dinwiddie, who's won 2 out of the last 4 Grey Cups, and they got Chad Kelly, who has, again, done some miraculous things, went through some incredibly tough things. And so when you have a head coach and you have a quarterback, same thing with Winnipeg. Just like you and Darren talked about.
Moose.
When you have that, you're going to have a chance to win. We'll get into these other teams.
I'm the same.
We got weeks coming up, so.
Exactly. We got lots of time. All right, Jim, thanks. Have a great week. Safe travels to the Queen City, and thanks for the time today.
I will talk to you in Regina.
The CFL on TSN's Jim Barker, 5-time Grey Cup champion. It's just me and you the rest of the way, whatever you all would like to talk about. We'll be right back here on Game Plus TV, streaming live and podcasting wherever the best podcasts are found.